I was wearing a white shirt,
Yeah.
a black tie, a pair of grey flannel trousers,
Yeah.
my brown croquet shoes. It's funny, Winston. I can't remember the socks, but I had them on. My check jacket and a watch. I had a watch, Winston.
Wrap them up into a parcel. Give the parcel to you.
Right. August 1943, in New Brighton, Port Elizabeth, South African and internationally celebrated actor, director and playwright Dr John Kani has been making theatre and film industry headlines for the past 5 decades. Introduced to protest theatre with productions such as Athol Fugard Sizwe Banzi is Dead and, as you just saw a clip from The Island, Kani, also known as the Godfather of South African theatre, has transformed the arts industry. He's also become one of the most recognisable South African actors around the world, not to mention one of the most charming. And now we are honoured to be having breakfast with Dr. John Kani. It is so good to see you.
Thank you, thank you.
I saw you almost getting a tear in your eye when you were watching The Island.
Wow, it just takes back the memories, you know. Those were the 73.
Wow.
That when we created The Island with Winston Jona and Athol Fugard.
Yeah. I mean, that's going back, and we're talking years and years. I mean, that's over 40 years ago,
wow.
where you were just, you were starting out, and those were the plays, those were the ones that really made a movement for you around the world.
Absolutely. You know, when we created these plays, we just wanted something to do. We wanted work. We created these works to take them around the townships, to take them around South Africa if possible. The idea was never that they would be kind of launch our careers, because there was no way you could think about, I could take it out of New Brighton, Port Elizabeth. It would be impossible.
Amazing.
But when we were invited to come to Johannesburg and suddenly we were invited to go to London, it was, hold it. Do you think they'll understand what we're doing here? This is not Cinderella, it's not Shakespeare.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just 2 people on stage.
And yet you won Tony Awards for this. Both you and Winston for Best Actors.
Yes, it was 1975. It was like an incredible moment because never has ever been in the history of the Tony Awards that 2 people shared a Tony or were given 2 Tony Awards. So we always tease each other because both plays, we were nominated for both plays, Sizwe Banzi is Dead and The Island.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I won my Tony Award for Sizwe Banzi is Dead or for The Island, or Winston won for Sizwe Banzi or The Island. So we don't know which one I won for.
You know what? That's a wonderful thing to be confused about. Imagine having 2 plays in the running and you won. So it didn't really matter.
You
hedged your bets beautifully. So when you say, I mean, and that's, let's go back to the beginning, because New Brighton, that's where you were born. You couldn't think bigger than there. I mean, that was, in those days, I mean, that was it. That was your world. And to think that the world was bigger than that was, yeah, it didn't work that way. I mean, you were working in car manufacturing, weren't you?
Yes, no, you are not even allowed to think like that. When your parents hear your conversation talking about going to Johannesburg, oh no, he'll never come back. He's going to die there. He'll forget us. We're going to starve. So you don't even think about leaving New Brighton to go overseas. And of course, at that stage, I just passed my matric and I was trying to raise money to go and study law. I'd already been accepted at the Fort University to study BA law, ready to go, and suddenly, well, things happened. My uncle gets arrested. My father says I have no money. I said, look for a job. And I got a job at Ford Motor Company as an engine assembler.
Wow.
My car gives problems. I tell you exactly what it is. I'm a nightmare for the service guy because I tell him, no, I want to check that, and that's all I want you to do.
So there you go. So even though it wasn't what you wanted to do, at least it's a trade that stayed with you until today. You can still fix your own car, which is a good thing.
Absolutely. Only this past Sunday, my nephew came in and said, my car doesn't want to start. I don't know what's wrong. I said, open the bonnet. We looked there, I said, look at your oil, your petrol filter is leaking.
I love it. I love it.
So come on, take it off, put it together, tighten it, start, get out of my house.
I think it's fantastic. John, I've got you the whole morning, so we've got our cups of coffees here. We're going to just continue with the programming, and then we're going to come back to the conversation with John Kani. You don't want to go away, because this was just a teaser of what to expect for the rest of the hour here on the program. We're going to continue this conversation with John after our news headlines, and thereon up until 8 o'clock. So do stay with us. But right now, I know that Valen's standing by with our sports news, which we need to get to, because on a Friday before the weekend, there's too much. Valen, over to you.